Hey guys, as always, thanks for stopping by. So this week, 2020 presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren was asked specifically about national concealed carry, and her response was chilling. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of Chief Warren's stance on gun control. Spoiler alert, it's all bad. But my big takeaway is less about Warren and more about how revealing it is that these folks have black and white plans to tax the Second Amendment into oblivion. Hey, this video is brought to you by this one. It's the Drama Llama shirt. It's my absolute favorite. It's available now from 1776 United. Link below, including a coupon code for 15% off. Now, as of the 2020 race, it's getting ready to ramp up even right now over the next few weeks, the primaries as well as the caucuses. I did a deep dive on the firearms policies of Sacagawea Warren. In her plan that is outlined on her campaign website, should she win the White House, she is going to, and I quote, rein in an out-of-control gun industry. And to me, this is absolutely ludicrous. It's not the job of the federal government to target a specific industry, a private industry no less, in order to push a progressive agenda down our throats. And at this point, folks from the coal industry are already typing furiously down below. The firearms section of her platform, it's huge. You could read it for yourself. I'll put a link down below if you'd like to do your own research. And of course, there is aggressive language that's against assault weapons and high-capacity magazines and suppressors. It's all standard fare for the freedom-hating leftists. But let me give you a couple highlights. Warren also wants to end the Trump-era approval of 80% lowers being legal, and this one personally makes me upset. She wants to expand the ATF and to overturn the current ATF approval using braces which turn SBRs into pistols. Now, that's an entire conversation for another day. That's a big one. Finally, in the middle of her gun reform platform, Warren calls out white nationalism as a firearms problem. Yep. Can't make this one up. Elizabeth Warren is taking a stand against white nationalism. Now, in all these things, follow the money. And I've said this repeatedly, and I'll say it again. These people are not going to be knocking on your front door to demand your guns, at least not in the immediate future. Instead, they will chip away at our freedom from the back door, tightening restrictions on what we can and can't own, making ammunition impossible to own because it's simply too expensive, finding ways to restrict the sale of gunpowder, things like that, and doing what they did to big tobacco, taxing it to death. Okay, back to Warren and her plan. She wants to raise taxes on gun manufacturers from 10% to 30% on all guns, and raise taxes on ammunition from 11% to 50%. A 50% tax on all ammunition. This, my friends, is gun control in 2020. Driving the industry downwards by making parts and ammunition unaffordable for the working class. I cannot overemphasize this. The dollars are going to be the device that they hit us with. And of course, it looks like the Warren may not even get through the primaries because that child sniffer has a big lead, at least as of today. But again, this is revealing of what we're up against regardless of who wins the primary. And speaking of money, should Warren win the presidential election, Warren has stated that she will not take an annual salary. Instead, she is asked to be paid in wampum. Warren has also stated that she will personally decrease gun deaths by 80%. Of course, her plan never mentions gun deaths by suicide, which are literally 2 out of 3. And all of this is outlined in an NPR Puff piece, which I will link down below. I hope none of you read it. It's all propaganda. I suffered, so you don't have to. So this week, Warren was speaking at an event outlining her plans for national gun registration and all sorts of other nonsense. A gentleman from the audience, he asked her a question which he framed by highlighting first the Fort Worth church shooting from last week, where the entire incident was stopped by a good guy with a gun in mere 5 seconds. Hero. The audience guy asks Warren if she would support a national concealed carry license, and he even threw the statist a bone and said, hey, how about national carry for anyone that is licensed and checked by the federal government? And her response was, in the word that I used a moment ago, chilling. I'll put a link to the video down below, but Warren gave a flat no. Her rationale is that concealed carry doesn't make anyone safer. Yep. She said folks are not safer when good guys and gals carry guns, all while being protected by guns. She literally has a 24/7 security detail made up of what? Good guys and good gals with guns. But she's bold enough to say it out loud that guns don't make people safe. And when she went hard against the Constitution, her audience clapped. Ripples of electricity went through that crowd. Not a big surprise. They absolutely loved it. Which for me highlights once again how insulated these folks are from all of us in the flyover states. It's a hive mind. So here's my takeaway from this week's deep dive into Warren's policies. Of course, I knew what to expect. The standard anti-gun rhetoric and anti-assault weapons proposals and propaganda. What I did not expect was the entire industry to be targeted specifically, and my big one is that 50% tax on all ammunition. Hey, that's how I see it. What do you think? Leave me a comment down below and let's have a conversation. When I know more, you'll know more. I'm Johnny. Let freedom ring.